Welcome to I Am Your Target Demographic, and welcome to Word Up, our series where we take a word or a phrase and then we define it and break it down so that you know what it is and how to use it in a sentence. Today we're looking at the term recency bias. This comes up a lot, so you may have heard this already. If you haven't, we're going to explain what it means. So let's first look at the actual definition of recency bias. Recency bias is a memory phenomenon in which more recent events or occurrences often hold a more positive or important place than older events. So how we see this in pop culture is things that happen more recently. A movie just comes out, we just play a video game. People are more positive on it, where the further you get from it, maybe people become critical, it becomes less favored, people tend to forget about it. And so when you ask people, what is your video game of the year? It might be things that they just played. So if you're looking at for the entire year, a game that came out in February might not be as highly favored as a game that just came out in December. A big place that we see this is the Academy Awards. That movies tend to come out in December that want a really good shot at being nominated for something. That's why you see a lot of kind of Oscar contender performances, movies that are, really vying for those awards come out in December. Where in January and February tends to be things that are not concerned with that, kind of a dumping ground for things that are maybe not, they don't need to be remembered when, January the next year rolls around. Recency bias is really hurting this film's chances since it released way back in January. People have already forgotten it, though it's a much better film than these others. I know when I see a movie in January or February and it's really good, I cross my fingers and I really hope that people remember it when December comes around. Now we also see this in other places where things that happened recently have a bigger impact than things that happened in the past. So things like the stock market, that recent movements they may think are more important than looking at the long-term picture of what that stock has been doing. A friend of mine had a really reliable stock that he invested in, but because of some recent hiccups, he sold for a pretty low price. Recency bias made him make a bad decision. So what are some examples where you might have seen this? Things where people forgot how good something was over time. It's maybe overshadowed by something that's newer, shinier, came out more recently. How do you see this play out? And then if there's other terms or phrases that you want to dive into, you want to get definitions for, you want to discuss, let me know down in the comments, and we'll see you on the next Word Up.